Friends, Romans, cunt, remen, lend me your ears. We come to praise Bitcoin, not to bury it. Welcome to the Bleaves Crypto Show. My name is Bleaves. We're here to talk about this crazy crypto market, and the state of the market right now is still struggling, but it's looking better. Everything's getting rosier and rosier and rosier as we go. So make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Helps push me up in the algorithm. We had a nice little surge overnight. It did not maintain. The US market came online. Market started to dip right away. But we closed out yesterday with the Dow Jones up really big. And that was a good sign. Then we had a decent overnight. So I suspect the U.S. market going to be a little bit profit-taking early in the morning. These scalpers, these shady, you know who they are. But I think that ultimately we're going to start seeing a nice move towards that upside. Now, had some people talking to me about the size of the screen and stuff like that. So as we go over the next couple of days, we're going to make sure that a lot of this is zoomed in a little bit more so that you can see it. And I'm going to be zoomed out a little bit more. We just haven't gotten to it yet, because then when I go into small body mode down here, I'm still a little bit in the way. So let me talk to you right now. Let me talk to you. That green line that you see on the screen right now is 3.04 trillion market cap. 3.04 trillion market cap is, in my opinion, the break above. The break above means that the rally would be back on for Bitcoin and for cryptocurrency to hit bigger highs. Okay, I do think that it is necessary right now to see that move. And what it would look like, would be something along these lines. A break above, then some confirmation on a back test, and then we get a breakout. Okay, that's the way that it would look to me. Now, you never know how that breakdown and breakout and how many hours it might take. You know, we could get a run up to 3.06, 3.07 trillion, then we could jump back down to 3.04 and then just absolutely take off. Or we could have a nice surge back up to 3.2 trillion, then it breaks down to 3.04. But the idea here is 3.04 is, in my mind right now, that is the floor for a bullish rally. And the reason for that is very, very simple. We've settled over here. We've used it as resistance. We've used it as support, 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 resistance, and resistance. Okay, this is an important level for the entire cryptocurrency market. If we break above this, then the rally is going to be back on. So make sure, again, you hit that like button on the way in. Share this content with as many people as you know. Let's move on from here. The U.S. jobless claims come in below expectations, and Bitcoin starts a rally. Now, jobless claims came in at 216,000 versus the expectation of 226,000, and also the 220,000 recorded in the previous week. So it looks like we've hired a few people. That's not a bad sign for the economy, but it is a bad sign for rate cuts. So fingers crossed that this is not, and by the way, this is a very small, thin sort of margin right here. And the estimate was way up, just went in the wrong direction. So, but here's the thing. If the labor market is doing fine, there's no reason for rate cuts. So what we need to see is we needed to see that data come in really bad. We needed to see 232 unemployment filings and initial claims instead of seeing less filings and claims. Now, that is one sign that the job market is healthy, hopefully not as healthy as it could have been. So I don't know what this is going to end up meaning, but this macro data follows the release of the September PPI inflation report yesterday. Bitcoin price rose to 87,000 after the release of the U.S. jobless claims, despite the data hinting at a rebound in the labor market, which could give the Fed less urgency to cut rates. That's what we're watching right now. We're looking for a rate cut, and this is giving them enough data to say that they don't. Now remember, Stephen Moran wants larger than 25 basis point cuts. He feels that it's necessary, but we already told you, he's basically a plant for Donald Trump. He's in on this cut. He's a Fed governor, and he thinks that we should continue doing these big rate cuts. He's not a conservative when it comes down to those principles with the Federal Reserve. Jerome Powell is still going to be the one that makes the ultimate decision on that. So we're going to be watching this with bated breath. I don't think anything's fundamentally changed. I think we're still in line for a rate cut. But if we were to go to CME FedWatch tool and look at the rate cut probability based on what's being priced in right now at this moment, 83.1% chance of a 25 to 50 basis point cut. So we're still doing well in this regard. Over the next couple of hours, we might see something change. Okay, we could see just a we're going to be watching this. We're looking for data. We're looking for reasons. So we'll let you know how that goes. Okay, well, that actually had a page on it before. All right, so Dow futures are up so far today, and the Dow has been pumping going into this holiday season. Could be a really cool rally for the markets. I'm not sure whether it's going to be or not, but we're looking at a weird thing. Normally, when you get into these holiday seasons, you get people, they stop trading. That allows the bears to absolutely start ripping people apart. Problem is, the bears have already ripped people apart. There's not very much more ripping to do. When you start to look at the flow of funds, then you're starting to see a lot of short positions that are primed to get liquidated. This means that the bears might be on the sidelines with their capital, waiting to see what happens on the next rally. The bulls, in the meantime, have an opportunity to take charge. Yesterday, the Dow Jones rallied almost 700 points. Today, it's up a couple hundred points. Again, this is a potential big-time rally for crypto, for the stocks, for everything right now. Also, gold almost at an all-time high. Moving on here, Mantra is proud to partner with Invenium to bring digital asset markets into the 21st century and beyond. Invenium. Across Abu Dhabi, London, and Singapore, a common theme continues to surface. Institutions want digital markets they can trust. So they have partnered with Mantra, and in response to that, Mantra is now up 12.5% on the day. Look, when we zoom out, it's not that big of a deal. But look at that. That was a significant rally, almost to 10 cents. Listen, we DCA'd our way to about 26 cents right now. So until it moves in a much bigger fashion, we don't really have anything going for us. So I'm going to wait and see whether we get another 100% gain or something like that. That's when it's going to really start to matter. But for right now, we've broken out from 7 cents all the way up to almost 10. So a significant rally starting. Hopefully it will continue. Also, we're having a little bit of a breakout on Centrifuge over the last couple of hours. Centrifuge starting to make a little bit of a move. It looks like upside momentum. We cleared out the shorts in this big move. We cleared out the sellers in this big move yesterday, and now it looks like it's claiming those positions. The 50 and the 200, it's breaking above, it looks like, the 200. The 50 is starting to curl up. That is going to be a bullish indicator of a 1 hour golden cross. 1 hour golden cross would not be the worst thing for any project to have right now, especially in this market where it just seems a little bit dry right now. It seems like we're wanting the next move to happen. Market makers are trying to prevent the move from happening. But again, with a lot of these guys being on the sidelines for the next couple of days, taking a holiday or an extended holiday, there's some real upside potential here, but there's also some downside potential. So we'll be watching that just to see what happens. Now, in other news, Caspa, which has also broken out, I want to say around 30% in the last couple of days. We didn't see a reason. There's no announcement. There's nothing about Caspa. So what the KOLs are doing on X and anywhere somebody will listen is they're saying that it's just time. Well, turns out that's not really the case. Caspa whales have scooped up 8 Caspa wallets, accumulated 35 million tokens in the last 24 hours. Jumped 27%, currently trading at 5.27 cents. Its daily trading volume also increased dramatically by 112%, reaching 86 million, and its market capitalization just surpassed 1.4 billion. This price is Caspa's highest point in the last 2 weeks. Most of the interest in Caspa comes from big players. When big wallets are buying the dip, that means, guys, just to remember, the big wallets that are buying the dip, they're not buying the dip so that you can use them as liquidity. They're buying what they think is the bottom for whatever the next big move is going to be. They don't know. I don't know. Again, this could be, I'm not going to say it's insider. I'm not going to say that, okay? These are large holders that are accumulating more. Something is going on, and somebody is probably leaking into a whale chat that something big is happening on Caspa. And if that's the case, then I'm not concerned about, I'll be fair, I'm not concerned about insider trading or anything like that. I'm just concerned about Caspa having a nice, significant rally. And it looks like it is preparing itself for a rally. Now that this has happened, though, look for some profit taking along the way. Look for people to try to dunk on them, try to stunt on these hoes, as you will. Look for them to break it down a little bit, and then look for a massive breakout from this accumulation zone. So I would be watching diligently for a big Caspa move coming up. So what else do we have here? Grayscale has converted their Zcash trust into a spot ETF. They've registered an S3 to transform the Zcash trust into a spot regulated ETF. The launching of other Grayscale ETFs on the New York Stock Exchange suggests that a Zcash listing is imminent. The momentum of Zcash increases as the Reliance Group converts its portfolio into Zcash. So a big move on Zcash might continue. We might get a nice little rally and a continuation of the rally. Remember, a lot of people, OG Bitcoin whales, are moving into it. There's a lot of people who are looking at a privacy coin, and they want privacy. They don't want to be tracked everywhere they go on this blockchain. People want to have a level of anonymity that they currently do not have with Bitcoin. Too many people know too many people's wallets. So we're seeing a flight to Zcash right now. I don't think it's a very big one. I don't think it's going to sustain, by the way. I think it's nice to see that people are still concerned about their privacy, and a groundswell of support from the privacy-centric people is an important aspect. But could you improve privacy on Bitcoin? Maybe through a layer 2, maybe through the Lightning Network, something like that. But that would really kind of go against the principles of mass adoption in institutions to begin with. So anything that happens here for Zcash and upside is going to be limited. Any downside for Bitcoin is also going to be limited. So I wouldn't be worried too much about it. And I certainly wouldn't be looking at the Bitcoin whales doing a transfer over to Zcash and saying that that's going to be the next paradigm. So I don't think there's going to be too much to it, but it is moving again. Now, Kevin Hassett, for those of you who don't know, Kevin Hassett is likely the next chair of the Federal Reserve. And what is his impact or potential impact on crypto, and how would it play out? He supports faster rate cuts when economic conditions weaken. He treats monetary easing as a tool for quick stabilization. Powell follows a slower path with careful steps. This difference shapes market expectations on important ways. A chair sets the tone for every FOMC meeting and guides the overall direction. Therefore, a new leader with strong urgency will shift the approach very, very quickly. Trump has already endorsed Hassett. Advisors want a leader who aligns with lower borrowing costs. Hassett fits that preference without hesitation. Crypto markets react quickly to change in rate expectations. When Powell hinted at a possible pause in late 25, Bitcoin dropped sharply. Now remember, all of those things happened at one time. About sometime in early October, Jerome Powell said, we're not really sure about another rate cut at the end of this year. We're gonna have to look at it and we'll evaluate it. And he didn't say no, but he said that this might be the last one for the year. Okay, that's when the numbers started to dip. And then when the numbers dipped, October 10 happened. Wintermute had a massive sell-off because Donald Trump was over here fighting with China over the tariffs. And then the next thing that you know, we have this collapse of the market. Then the 4-year whales come out and they say, oh, it must be over. And then they start selling. And basically you just have this black swan event that happens all at once. Going back in time, when Jerome Powell made that announcement, the market did not buckle. Okay, it was coming down already. It was, it was not that big a deal. I don't think it was that big a deal. Okay, but it is part of the news cycle that they use in order to manipulate you. So we do have to at least recognize it. Political influence sometimes shakes market confidence. Traders worry about Fed independence during moments of strong political alignment. A Hassett-led Fed could influence crypto through several channels. Faster cuts increase liquidity across global markets, and that's what we need. Higher liquidity supports stronger demand for Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is what we need. Traders often rotate into high beta assets when money becomes cheaper, which is what we need. This shift can lift altcoins as well, which is what we need. ETF flows also rise during easy money cycles, which is what we need. By the way, look, what are you doing if you have $10 million? You're using your $10 million, you're staking your $10 million, you're borrowing against your $10 million with $10 million more dollars, and you're using that to invest in whatever it is to begin with, okay? So look, there are so many people out here in this market right now living their dream of they put $100,000 into a lender, they borrow against that $100,000 with another $100,000. While they're doing it, they're earning as a staker, they're earning rewards, and then they're using the extra $100,000 to continue to hodl the same project, the same product. They're turning themselves into multimillionaires by just using their money like the wealthy do. Wealthy people don't spend their own money. They borrow money from other people, and then they just consider the interest that's on it as the cost of doing business, and then they pay it back with that interest, but they're able to accumulate and accumulate and accumulate. The rich get richer. It's just the way that it works. So lower yields support long-term crypto accumulation. So we're going to be watching fascinated to see whether or not this actually happens. Kevin Hassett might be the best guy for cryptocurrency right now. Is he the best guy to run the Fed? I don't know. That's not my lane. My lane is crypto, and that's the part that I care about. Now, Solana price prediction as ETF inflows hit 620 million after 21 days. Now, I don't know what the prediction is going to be. I haven't looked at this yet, but Solana prediction after $621 million in inflows on Solana. Where could Solana end up going? We look at the chart over here, and we're waiting for that breakout for Solana back up to some of these range highs. We're on the 1 hour right here when we look at it this way, and we're seeing that, you know, it had a nice little breakout from 122, 128 a couple of days ago, but we need a big move from Solana. And to this point, I mean, we kind of look at it right here from that top over there, not even close. Now, we do have it range bound. We did get a nice bounce off of the resistance area, which came down here at 121, which already existed, by the way. We zoom out here. And whoops. And I mean, just look at that. We've bounced perfectly off of it. It would strike me that a break to the upside of this range would be in line. Now, I'm not sure that that's exactly right. I would prefer probably to look at it a little more diligently, saying that, you know, we want to touch each one of these peak lines right there. But I mean, again, this really tells me 360, 400, maybe even $500 is the breakout spot for Solana. So we could be looking at a big move coming for Solana. I'm not sure that we do. The reason that I'm not sure is because volume. When you look at the volume that's been traded over here, especially on DeFi, which is where it really, really matters the most, Solana is number one, but it's only 2.5 billion right now. It's not a huge amount. This DEX volume right here just does not resonate. Again, when I say the top four are the ones that matter, you look here at 2.5, 2 billion, that's 4.5. Then you have 1.5, that's 6 billion. Then you have base, which is 7 billion. The top four only account for about $7 billion in volume. Not that long ago, 20 billion. So we are way down. And by the way, holiday is not going to be the time where it breaks out. So touch grass is going to be the ultimate thing. But Solana prediction happening right now. Solana, and this is Cryptosaurus George, and he says Solana just went 21 for 21 on flows. Franklin Templeton files for a Solana ETF with the SEC. There's a lot of good stuff coming, right? But will Solana price reach 150 in the coming weeks? As of the writing, the Solana price has seen a 2% surge over the past 24 hours, currently at 137, despite 621 million in accumulation on the Solana ETFs. That is a phenomenal number, but an indication How is the price not moving? MACD indicators in the positive region. Histogram displays green bars, but the MACD line is still slightly above the signal, indicating that even though there is bullish pressure, there's no indication that the momentum is so strong that it can be sustained to proceed with a sustained rally. Also, the Chaikin money flow is 0.08, which implies a neutral sentiment of buying and selling pressure. So what we're going to need to see, or what we will end up seeing at some point very, very soon, is we're going to see some whales. We're going to see some whales step in and buy themselves some Solana. Once we see that happen, then the next thing you know, a big rally or a significant rally will start. Also, remember, what we're looking for right now, what we're missing, by the way, is a trigger for retail to return back to the market. We want to see some gains. And once you start seeing some gains, and once you start feeling that positivity, then retail steps back into the arena, and the next thing you know, we have this massive surge and this massive breakout. So watch for Solana to have a breakout. Not only that, let's get rid of that. We don't want that. And we're done with that one. All right, Kobayashi. All right, so they're talking about SPX right there. S&P rises above 6,800 and is now less than 2% away from hitting a new all-time high. By the way, they told you, and we told you this within the last 2 weeks, that we're looking for a break to 8,000, 7,200 to 8,000 for the S&P. So I would be looking for a nice breakout happening very soon. Investor fear levels are rising. The cost of 5-year put options protecting against at least a 55% drop in the S&P has risen to 46 basis points, the highest since the April sell-off. Excluding April, this is the highest level in at least 2 years. This means investors are now paying the most in 6 months for long-term protection against a decline of the S&P. Overall, total dollar value of options and credit protection contracts traded hit a record last week, according to Goldman Sachs. Hedge demand is rising in the equity market. Also, I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know. Like, look, guys, I'm going to tell you something. When you're 80 years old, things get weird, all right? There is a new word for a Trump Republican, which is almost everyone. It is T-publican or T-publican. Look, I'm not going to say you're focused on the wrong things, but you're focused on the wrong things. This is very, very weird. Bull market peak indicators, still none hit. Again, before we do that, before we say continue to hold, go look at thesis. Go find people who align with your belief system. 0 of 30 market indicators have been hit. Dr. Profit says you don't need any of them. So do we really need any of them to confirm that we're in a bear market? Maybe we just missed. Maybe all of these things are wrong. Maybe they're just wrong because institutions have come in and they've changed the way, the paradigm, what it is that we're doing. Maybe they've just fundamentally changed everything. I don't know. But none of them have been hit. I would like to see at least 10, a third of the way there before we say that we're at the top of the cycle. So who knows what's going to end up happening. TerraCasino.io for all your risk-based gaming needs. If you bought, by the way, Chicago Bears won again, 8-3 right now, in first place in the NFC North in a game that they really had to win because they were in first place the week before. And what they needed is they needed to see that victory to continue to establish that that's what's happening, right? And they did. So if you put money on it, if you wagered, Terra Casino was your place to go. Also, free poker tournament last week, sponsored by Weso World. And if you're trying to buy any meme coins, Terraport.finance is your place to go. Utility coins, same. Nothing changes. Just go buy yourself some coins in the Terra Luna Classic ecosystem. And guess what? Market module's coming. For those of you that don't know what that is the old module that allowed for buying and for borrowing and lending in the Terra Luna Classic ecosystem, and it basically allowed for USTC to mint and print, and same thing for Luna Classic to mint and print, and that is exactly what this ecosystem needs. And then we need to reduce the tax to 0 so that builders can build without having to pay a penalty. All right. Dev ecosystem, I don't know what's going on here. There's a lot of talk this morning. If you look at the chart, it's really not doing anything with the chart, by the way, but a couple hours ago, you had a move. That move looks big, but I mean, you know, 1.5%. I mean, it's not that big, okay? You want 10, you want 20, you want 30, you want 40% moves before you really kind of pay attention to what's going on with Dev. But here's the reason. You've had this thing happen yesterday. For anybody who partakes. Here we go. There was a there was a meeting yesterday where NASDAQ started talking, and what NASDAQ said about their oh, here we go. NASDAQ has a strategic partnership with DevStream involving multi-year Dev token purchases starting at $1 million in 2025. No, that's not even what we're talking about here. Anyway, NASDAQ has a meeting yesterday, or they have a public discussion yesterday, and everything that they talked about and everything that they explained about the blockchain that they're using aligns with everything that Dev has been saying the entire time. So, you know, it's absolutely nanners. And now Chris Rogers is sending a message to BitBoy Crypto. By the way, for those of you that don't know, Ben knows all about Dev. So does Cassie. They all know everything they need to know about it. So there could be an interesting moment here where NASDAQ is spilling the beans. I don't think that that's the case, but I mean, you never know what's going to happen. So if you are interested, you should definitely get yourself some Dev tokens just in case. For right now, I don't know when anything's going to happen. I have no idea exactly, you know, what's going on. Also, Monad, where is Monad today? Monad had a nice little breakout from their launch, pretty significant on the 1 hour. Let's get to the daily here. Now, there's the Monad launch, okay? So anybody telling you that Monad is killing it, come on, man. Come on, Selmo. This is the chart. This is the chart. It was 15 cents a couple days ago. It's 4 cents today. So again, this is what I always tell you guys. We need to see where the bottom is before we enter into a position. As of right now, what are you seeing? You're seeing you got the launch, then you got the dump, then you got the continued dump. Now you're getting a retest once it gets up into this range right here, which can be about 5 cents. I suspect you're going to see a dump down to a penny. All right, so I would say, in my opinion, look for the opportunity to accumulate Monad at around a penny. I don't know that that's going to be the bottom. I don't know that that's going to be the end of it, but it is, based on the chart, a pretty good position. At least there's going to be another significant rally. I mean, if you just take what it's doing and so, I mean, just looking at it from that context right there, what it did before, doing it one more time and coming down, where does that wick down to? Almost 1 penny. So what I would say is this: look for an opportunity on Monad at 1 penny. Set yourself a buy order at 1 penny on Coinbase. At 1 cent. Buy as much as you can at 1 cent, or as much as you're willing to risk, because there's always risks associated with this. But buy yourself at least some at 1 cent. If it rallies back up to 4 or 5 cents and that's the bottom, guess what? You just won the lottery. Okay. If it doesn't, oh well. I mean, again, don't risk more than you're willing to lose. I'm not saying that 1 cent is going to be the ultimate reversal rally position or anything like that. I'm just saying that if I'm looking at it on a chart, that's the next spot for an accumulation right there at 1 cent. So good luck to those who consume. All right. On the daily right here, we've got Monad at 1.35 billion volume. We've got Dash at 18%, SPX at 20%, Stark at 8.7%. Not bad. I mean, definitely not bad. I wonder why. I wonder why the perpetual futures on Monad are like that. Huh. H is up 20%, Merle up 16%, Pendle up 7.6%, having a little bit of a rally. Lenders coming back into play. And by the way, I owe Derek Hine, I think, one over here. We were talking about Jasmy, or he was asking about Jasmy. Where the fuck? I really kind of got rid of Jasmy because I didn't even think, like, nobody was talking about it, so I moved it all the way down here to the bottom. All right, so where is the bottom of Jasmy? Let's zoom this out for a long time. We're at the bottom of Jasmy, I think. Unless, I mean, you know, what we're looking at, this is the ultimate chart right there. Like, you can't, there's not much more bottom than what you're seeing right now. So here's what I would suggest. I would suggest, if you're looking at this, the previous bottom is 0.00273. Currently, you're sitting at 0.007, and you're in this downward trend, right? I mean, really, if you're going to get a breakout, the breakout probably takes you up into this 10, 11 cent range. So any spot right now to accumulate Jasmy seems like a pretty good spot, okay? If I'm making a guess on where you should accumulate, then what I would be looking for is I would be looking for a significant bounce off of a previous top, right? That previous top was right here. Now you can see that we're just a wick right below where that previous top is. Now, I think that that's close enough that it wicks a couple of different times, like kind of right down here, just a little bit lower, which matches up with this little corresponding spot right here. Also, we're going to take that, we're going to turn that into a 2-point green instead of 1-point green. You can see right there, we've had support a bunch of times, we've had resistance a bunch of times, we've had resistance, then we had support, and then it broke down right below. I mean, this really is the spot right now to accumulate some Jasmy, just in case you have that big reversal. If it's going to go down, you could go down still another 50%, 70%. But if you do, I would suspect that it's probably going to spark very quickly right here. When it was down in this range the last time, within, was that 4 days? Within 4 days, you were at 2.7 cents. So you could see a significant rally from Jasmy over the next little while. I mean, again, I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm not saying that it's going to happen that way. I'm just saying that if I'm looking at this and I'm being objective about what the chart is telling me, we're at the bottom and there's another reversal getting ready to happen. Now, the other thing to that is, I mean, you zoom around here and you look at it. Just not a lot of activity right now in the market. So I would be a tiny bit concerned, but if you're already in and you've already paid a penny or more for it, then I would suggest going in heavy so that your DCA starts to give you a much better position. And buying at 0.007 right now probably won't do you wrong. I mean, again, you probably get 2.5, 3 cents just on a short pump rally. You know what I mean? Like, not even, what is it, 2.7 cents to 3 cents. You know, it'd be a significant rally and it'd be a nice little 4X right there. And if you DCA at this point, then that might be a good one. It's what you can afford to risk. Jasmy, opportunistic, okay? I would say take advantage of that opportunity. Fear and greed still sitting at 15. We're still not getting that big kickoff. We're not getting that big move. We're still down in this range right here. So the market is still afraid. The market is still weak. We're not looking at a good, we're not looking at good pressure right now. As far as the rest of the market goes, on the 24-hour, we're starting to see a pocket of longs being taken right here, which means that we're going to see the bears stepping back in and try to liquidate all of these people in this 86,000 range. Before that happens, 88, 89,000 might be on tap. When we zoom out to, let's call it 1 month, we're going to stick with 1 month today. The money is sitting way up here. It's sitting way up here at, what is this, 112,000. So there's a long way to go. A lot of shorts right now that are just hanging on. And look, we get a little bit of a rally, we get a little bit of a move. All of these guys are going to get liquidated. All of these guys are going to get just absolutely annihilated. Don't know that that's going to happen, but there's a look. Here's what I'm going to say. For anybody who's out here right now, if you are one of those people who thinks that the bull market is over and that we're in the bear market, all of those people are entering short positions every time Bitcoin runs sideways. Okay, right here, We go sideways a little bit, they enter the shorts. We go sideways here a little bit, they enter the shorts. We go sideways a little bit, they enter the shorts. Okay, right here, right here, right here. You see all of these different short positions that we end up taking, right? You see it. It's right there in front of you. Now, the question that you got to ask yourself is, if everybody's doing it, does everybody get to make money? No, they do not. If everybody's doing it, it's not going to maintain. If everybody's doing it, then the next move is going to be the opposite. So just look at the charts, see where the liquidity is, see where the money is, see where it's packed up, and expect a move into that range. I mean, that's really what you're probably going to see. So that's what I would suggest, is pay attention to the signs. Signs, everywhere the signs, blocking up the scenery, breaking my mind. Who sings that song? Do this, don't do that. Can you read the signs? What is that? What is that? What is that? Why do I know that? Oh, Tesla. I don't know. They were doing a cover of somebody else. Also, the ETFs had a nice flow, 128 million to the good yesterday. The Ethereum ETF, this is the one we care the most about, for the third straight day, had a nice run of inflow, 78 million. So boom, feeling pretty good. XRP ETF, here we go. 285 million in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. We're on the 8th day right now. 285 million in inflows on the XRP ETF. Guys, I assure you, you're not bullish enough, okay? You're not bullish enough. Too many institutions are accumulating too much crypto right now for us to be in a bear market. Too many of them, okay? And look, I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm not saying that we can't have that big dip. I'm saying that every day is positive inflow into these markets every single day. And look at Ethereum or Solana is getting even bigger and bigger and bigger. The inflows into the Solana ETF yesterday, another 63 million. It's crazy, okay? It's crazy. We are getting massive inflows. It's going to continue. This rally is not done. Now, deck screener. I put Urim up here and I put Volt up here. That's it that I've got so far. I want to also put Blocky. There we go. The old blockhead. All right. Now, let's look at that watch list one more time. All right. So now we got Blocky on there. Okay. So, and there's the percentages. All right. So we got it. I messed up everything and I deleted everything. So I'm just kind of rebuilding it day by day as I go. Total value locked, we already talked about. Cryptocurrency market, look, most of it's in green. Even on the 7-day, we're not seeing as much red as we were seeing a couple days ago. This was a disaster a short while ago. So, and we'll see what happens here, you know. Did you hear that Swift is doing test runs with Linnea? By the way, Swift payment system has upgraded to, they're now a blockchain. They're using a blockchain. So I would be watching very, very soon for something big happening with the Swift payment system. They have not, look, they might launch their own coin before it's all said and done. We might end up getting an actual coin for that. You know what I mean? Morgan says, what do you think would be a good first-time regimen and how much for simple peptides for losing weight, like 100 pounds, but also gain muscle? I go to the gym 2 to 3 times a week. Okay, so we're going to go off topic here because you guys should know by now that my other passion is working out and you know, trying to get in shape. I've now lost 120 pounds and strong as an ox, doing pretty good. What I'm using right now is semaglutide. I use fairly low doses. I eat once a day. I don't know, you eat however much you feel is necessary, but everything I do is high protein, very low carbohydrates, which allows me, by the way, when I have a cheat day, when I have a day where I'm going to eat something that's not that good, that's fine. Okay. If I eat good all the time, I don't worry about my health in that context, if that makes sense. because I'm eating good most of the time. Now, what I'm using right now is semaglutide. I'm using 2 milligrams per week. I get 10 milligrams a month, so it's like a 5-week supply. But what I'm using for muscle building and growth, it's a growth hormone for growth hormone receptors, and that is ipamorelin, 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 and CJC 1295. Apparently, when you combine them, they work 3 to 5 times more aggressively in your body for growth hormones. Okay, so that's what happened there. And Maddie B says, believes, are we sent sale new one pre-sale? By the way, Maddie asked me to talk about Sentinel OX, Sentinel 0X in the last couple of days, and I haven't talked about it yet because I'm still negotiating with them for, we're doing a video. So I should be getting paid, and we're going to be doing a video on Sentinel 0X, Maddie, in the next couple of days. So, or at least I'm waiting to see if that happens. You know, like they've said it, they've agreed to it. I'm just waiting to get funded so that I can get started. And as of right now, I've not been remitted. So I'm just waiting until they pay me, and then we'll probably get that video out. I think the deadline for it is in about 4 days. So there will be a video coming out very soon for Sentinel 0X. Also, for those of you that don't know, I have a new thing here. I'm going to put the link in the description down below. Let me knock this one out of the park for you guys. Let me sign in before I show it to you. Now, to be honest with you, I haven't logged in yet and done everything with it, but this is called trackmytrades.ai. Now, this is, you add your first trade, you click on it right here, and then you do futures or spot. You decide exactly what it is that you do, and then it will track the progress of your trade. So let's say that you buy on spot. It really doesn't matter long or short if you're doing it on spot. But you're going to select your trading pair, and then you're going to figure out which one it is that you bought. So you're going to go through here, and you're going to start finding. Let's say that you did, yesterday I bought 11 Solana, okay? So I bought 11 Solana yesterday. And my entry date and time would have been yesterday. And active trade, order was on market. And my entry price was, at the time, $134. And the size in USD, there we go. So you fill this out, and then it tracks your trades for you. And then there's your trading setup right there. There's no leverage on this because I'm doing it on spot. My entry price was $134. Active trade. Boom, 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 boom. Position details. Got it. No leverage. Autofill from market data. No, we were at 134 when we entered. All right, and this goes with weeks. This goes with any other exchange that I have set up with it. I don't have a stop loss set up. I have a take profit. It's going to be set up at $158. And then you can put in your pre-trade screenshot so that it tracks it. Trade confidence, I am here. My emotion is excited. And strategy is default. And exchange was manual. There we go. All right, auto-calculated. We're just going to put that in. And then once you're done with it, you fill it out, and then it tracks your trade, and it tracks the performance of every trade that you have. And this, by the way, the important thing, you can come over here and you can put in a bunch of different trades, and you can just start to manually enter what exchanges you're using, and it will allow you to manage it. And then not only will it do that, here's your bag tracker. So all you have to do is start putting in your portfolio. Here's your trade calculator, which will tell you how much you could earn or make. Here are your strategies. If you want to start using some strategies, there's your affiliate link, your AI insights. Here's my affiliate dashboard. I am approved for the affiliate program, so I need to put my link down in the description below. So don't sign up until I do, or until I put that out there. But anyway, track my trades is going to be the next big thing in cryptocurrency. So track your positions, track your trades, track your performance, and it will make sure that you know exactly where you've got everything all in one. And if you use multiple different wallets, just integrate it all into one single location, at least for the tracking purpose. So that's a pretty good one, I think. In my opinion, that's a pretty good one. So if you haven't, then certainly go look for it. All right. So anyway, back to the simple peptide thing. It's very simple. Semaglutide, ipamorelin, CJC 1295. I've used GHKCU. I've used sermorelin. I've used BPC 157. Not all of these are the same things, by the way. So what I'm using right now is just pure growth hormone level stuff. And I'm down to 235 as of right now. For those of you that don't know, I was at almost 360 pounds last year. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you a picture of my fat ass. I actually think that I have an old picture of me, and you guys are going to see what the difference is now. It's going to get real serious right now. Where am it bees? Where are it is am? Let's see here. And you're going to know it's me. You'll be like, oh my God. And by the way, I used to wear this big pink hoodie in honor of my daughter. My daughter passed away a few years ago, and she was, well, let's not get into that. But let me save this picture. And let's pop that up. And you're going to see me right next to me. You're going to look like me next to me. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that chin. Look at that chin. If my hand was fat. Look at that. My hand was fat. Right here. Like my hand was fat. Like right there on the side of my hand, you could see, like right there. My hand was fat. What the fuck? So anyway. 235 right now. Looking, by the way, as I get lower and lower, as I get, as I lose more and more weight, my goals seem to be changing. Originally, I was looking at, if I could just get down to 240, I'd feel good. And I got to 240, I'm like, you know what? No, not yet, because you can't see everything that I want to see. And what do I want to see? I want to see abs. Now it's just a point. I want to see abs. Can I do that? And by the way, I'm not looking to go into an extreme deficit diet or anything like that. I don't want to be unhealthy. I'm too old for it to be unhealthy. So what I'm trying to do is make sure that I maintain a healthy sort of diet, or at least as healthy as I'm willing to do. I'm going to have a French fry every now and then, stuff like that. But, what I want to see, mostly what I want to see is I just want to see good muscle growth continue and more fat loss. So as of right now, I'm sitting in that spot where, I walk into the gym, people are like, damn. When I take my shirt off, people are like, damn. But they're also looking at it and they're like, yeah, you've lost a lot of weight. You know what I mean? Because you can still see the skin and stuff like that. Like, see that? No abs. And if I flex, you can see maybe the beginning of an ab, but not enough. So right now I'm at 235. So now I'm looking to get to 220. And if I get to 220 and continue to build a little bit of muscle along the way, maybe that will help to, want to see those abs one time. Just want to see those abs one time. You know what I mean? One time since I was 23, I want to say. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. So, yeah. Big difference. Big difference in my overall composition. So, semaglutide, then ipamorelin, and then CJC 1295. I'm doing 300 micrograms of a combo of a mixture of that every single day, or actually 5 days a week. Then I take 2 days off because apparently I was wrong, because I said that, you know, it's peptides. You don't need to worry about your receptors. You do need to worry about your receptors. So instead of doing it every day, I'm doing it 5 days on, 2 days off. Then I'll go off the cycle for a little while, for, you know, 2 weeks or something. Then I'll go back on, and it's working for me right now. So, you know, if you're looking to do that, and by the way, I work out every single day. I don't take days off. I don't work out heavy every single day. I don't throw up the biggest weight every single day, but I work out every day. I do some exercise. I just make it a point to go to the gym. Even if I just work out for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, I work out longer. But even if I just go there just to move the weight around, just to make sure that the muscle is stimulated at least a little bit, doesn't have to grow every day. It just needs to be reminded that it needs to work. This is basically my thesis. And it's working so far. So if you're looking to do something, make a commitment and just go for it. You know what I mean? It's not going to, look, you're not going to be worse. You're never going to be worse off by working out, by getting healthy, by getting more and more fit. Like you're never going to be bad in that. So, and I appreciate that. Thank you, F1 fans. Again, I don't really want to talk about that. It's been a while. You know, Derek Hines says you get abs from eating bioengineered. Then I won't have abs. I stay away from box food right now as best I can. I mean, again, I don't worry about it too much, but I make my choices, and I make my choices healthier than they were before. And that, I think, matters a lot. Like I don't, I don't sit around and just snack all day. Or if I do, I have an orange, or I have an apple, or I have something. Nobody in history ever got fat from eating fruit, was the old adage. When I do my protein shake at night, I use frozen strawberries. I throw a couple of frozen strawberries in to give it a little bit more flavor. And that's it. You know, I keep it as simple as I can, low carb as I can, and focus on fruits and vegetables as opposed to anything. And by the way, no pork anymore. I gave up pork. I'm about to give up bread completely, because I think it turns out, I think I have a gluten allergy. I think I've always just had a gluten allergy, just never affected me. Or, you know, you get that lumpy feeling like you had bread and you're like, ugh, time for a nap or something like that. After a sandwich or something. So I think I probably had a gluten allergy my whole life. And now it just sucks. So staying away from bread too. Or at least minimizing the bread intake, or the flour, you know, whatever it is. Just kind of minimizing all that stuff. But anyway, that's it. That's the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Over the next couple days, you're going to see, again, I met with somebody. I have a new manager of the channel. So you're going to see some changes. You're going to see some pivots. You're going to see some different things. Hopefully they're going to be better. Hopefully you're going to be more engaged. But I need to bring in more people. I need to 10x this channel. I need to 20x this channel. I need more people to be paying attention to me. I keep getting told by everybody that I'm doing things right. So now I'm trying to continue doing things not only right, but to the best of my ability in the best way possible. And maybe clean up the screen a little bit. I mean, I think I feel like a little bit blurry or something like that. You know what I mean? Timsky says, I've got the opposite problem. I'm slender, but I need to gain, and I just won't gain. 175 pounds and can't get bigger. Okay, the answer to that is still going to be ipamorelin and CJC 1295, because that will help keep off fat, but it will allow for more growth hormone pulsing through your body, and that will lead to more testosterone, and that will lead to an increase in your size. That increase in your size with muscle will end up being more weight. The other thing is you got to do some resistance training. You got to go challenge yourself in the gym. You have to, you have to challenge yourself in the gym. That's really all it comes down to. Yesterday, I'm doing, listen, I'm going to put it to you this way. A year ago, I could not do a pull-up. A year ago, I could not do a pull-up unless it was an assisted one, okay? So what did I do? I got on the assisted machine and I put the whole weight stack, which I think was in the neighborhood of 150 pounds. So I took 150 pounds off of my body weight to do 1 or 2 or 3 pull-ups. Today, I start off my back day with 10 pull-ups. I couldn't do 1. And the one that I did was assisted a year ago, okay? Now I can do 10 pull-ups. Then I go do, and that, by the way, is close grip. Then I go out and I do wide grip, and I use a 50-pound helper. And then I do the same thing with close grip, with a neutral, like a neutral grip. One is pronated, the other one is neutral. So, and I do 3 sets of 10 on each one of those, or until failure. So sometimes it's 12 to 15, depending on how good I feel. But I couldn't do that a year ago, okay? I could not do that a year ago. But also, my back is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Tim says, I do bands, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, squats, and jogging. That's not enough resistance. That's going to make you skinny. That's going to make you a runner. That's going to make you a runner. That's really what it comes down to. What you need to do is you need to break the muscle fibers down, and you need to tell your muscles with heavier weights that it needs to get bigger. That's the way. If you want to put on weight, if you want to put on muscle, it's actually not complicated. You just need to shock your muscle and tell your muscle to do something that it's not used to doing. That's it. That's all it takes. And then make sure that you get enough food in you to grow the muscle. That's it. So get a lot of protein. Anyway, that's the show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys that you take the time to come here every day. We got to get more people coming here every day and doing this because I like what I'm doing. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right. We'll see you guys in the morning.